Hello, everybody, and good morning. Welcome to the Top Producer Show. So our mission is to educate, equip, and train servant leaders. Our vision is to create financially independent achievers, and our purpose is to help people grow. And right now we're going over a book by John Maxwell and Rob Hoskins. And we are going over the book Change Your World. Sorry, been reading so many different things lately. I forgot which book we're on. So, before we jump into the next chapter, we are going to invite some people onto here. It's already Wednesday. We're halfway through the week. All right, and here we go.
Okay, Joan Patterson just connected with me and said hello. Okay, so we all need each other. That's basically chapter 3. We all need each other. It says, I can do what you can't, and you can do what I can't. Together, we can do great things. That was actually Mother Teresa. So it's really all about working with people and figuring out ways to work with people. John talked a little bit about the stay-at-home isolation. And how, to branch out and work together and how technology has done that. He kind of has a couple stories in here that are long, but are good. It says the only thing that limits us in time of crisis is our lack of creativity, that and recognizing that we all need each other. That was Sam Yoder. So he talks about transformational truths. He says the law of significance and the 17 indispensable laws of teamwork. It says 1 is too small a number to achieve greatness. So by yourself, you're going to have a hard time. You're going to have to learn how to connect with people in whatever way possible. Obviously, we all learned how to do that digitally, which is not the same. Psychologically, it's showing to be extremely damaging because depression has gone up, suicide's gone up, not injury, what am I trying to say? Emotional damage has gone up because I've got friends in counseling and things like that, and they're like, yeah, it's bad. No matter how brilliant your mind or strategy, if you're playing a solo game, you'll always lose out to the team. A team of people will always beat you. Why? Because you have to sleep. Somebody's going to be able to stay up longer. And that's really the whole purpose of, MLM and direct sales. You can only sell so much yourself. You can only market so much yourself. You can only recruit so much yourself. But if you are able to build a significant enough team, then the team can outwork any one person. So even if you're not that great of a recruiter, or you're not that great of a team builder, you're not that great of a, quote unquote MLM leader, you might be great at leading at home, but just, in the world of leading, if you get enough people on your team, you can still out-recruit, out-build, out-earn some of the most talented people who try to do it all on their own. It says team means together everyone achieves more. Who's more important? Who is more important than how? So who you work with is more important than how you work. I was told this a long time ago. It is more important to be in business with the right people in the wrong company than be in the wrong company or be in the right company with the wrong people. And now why is that? Pretty simply said, If you're with the right people will always figure out how to make something work. But if you're with the wrong people will screw up even the best opportunity. And, we've all seen that. So, nothing has transformed my life more than realizing that it's a waste of time to evaluate my worthiness by weighing the reaction of people in the stands. There's going to be a lot of spectators. Dee's here, Jordan's here, Chance is here, what's up? There's going to be a lot of spectators if you go out and do anything. There's going to be a lot of critics if you go out and do anything. But remember, I can't say that now because they actually have, but typically they never erect statues of critics. Critics are people who actually physically don't do anything. They just comment on everything, which is unfortunate. It's not the load that weighs you down. It's the way you carry it. Because we're all going to have, the stuff that didn't work out. We're all going to have kind of our own struggles, our own horrible stuff that we've got to deal with, right? It's not that you are going to have it or aren't going to have it. Jim Rohn says, the same wind blows on us all, meaning the same bad stuff all comes to everybody. It's just the set of the sail of how you deal with things. Good morning. What unites us is greater than what divides us. In the 17 indispensable laws of teamwork, it says shared values define the team. Shared values define the team. So what you have to do is, what do most people value? Teams are built out of different things. MVP, the team that we put together, mission, what is the mission? What is the vision? What is the purpose of what we're doing? We're trying to help people achieve their goals and dreams. That's what we see ourselves doing, and basically building the best versions of ourselves. That's the purpose. The purpose is to build people. Let both sides explore what problems unite us instead of belaboring the problems which divide us. That was John F. Kennedy. So you can point out what you do well, and you can point out what you have in common, but the moment you start pointing out what, that side's like this, and this side's like this, and you don't, there's no win situation. You're never going to accomplish anything. All you're going to do is basically raise the level of division that's already there. Pointing out, this is wrong. And it's not to say that things aren't wrong, and it's not to say things don't need to be accomplished and addressed. But if it's all you do, my point. What I have is more important than what I lack. So you have to focus on what you're doing well to be able to get ahead. It says, there is destiny that makes us brothers. None goes his way alone. All that we send into the lives of others comes back into our own. So basically what you give out, you get back. If you give out hate, you will get hate back. If you give out frustration, you will find frustration will come find you. So you kind of have to be prepared. This is kind of the whole thesis of the movie The Secret, or the book The Secret. That lady went out and found. It's basically a vibration that you're putting out on a regular basis. Whatever you give out, you're going to get back, and sometimes you're going to get back in worse forms. So it says we can add value to our teammates as they add value to us, and together we can add enough value to the world to change it. What are your contributions to the cause? What qualities can you bring to the table to make a difference? If you're having trouble figuring out your giftedness, take a look at the following list of assets and rate yourself on a scale of 1, which is the weakest, to 10, which is the strongest. Passion, experience, knowledge, skills, relationship, influence, vision, time, resources. The law of the niche. In the 17 indispensable laws of teamwork, all players have a place where they add value or the most value. You all have a unique role on the team, so you have to figure out what you're good at, and I think more importantly, you have to figure out what other people are good at and be able to point it out to them. Some people are crazy on time. I've got a guy on the team, Benny. Benny Boyles is like I mean, he's always there. He's always there early. He's always, but it's a military thing too, you know. But that's his prerogative. That's what he does. He's always there. He's always there with a good attitude. Always shows up. Because there's a saying that early is on time is late, and late is unacceptable. You don't do things late in the military. If you do things late in the military, people die. So you've got to be there early. You want to anticipate what's going on. You want to be prepared for what's going on. You want to, you know, think through the process. And that's something that, you know, obviously the military would do. So he's just there. He's always there on time. We have another lady who was just able to recruit somebody yesterday, Donna. Donna is dealing with just, I mean, it's insane, all the different things she's dealing with. Her husband has, you know, some health issues. Her granddaughter just lost, you know, a family member. I mean, it's just like back to back to back to back stuff. Horrible stuff. But, you know, she's made the best of it. She always shows up. She's always there. I think she's only missed like one event the entire time we've done them. Just amazing. To be able to stay on track through all of that craziness, you know, having to stay, you know, not at her house. She's having to stay at a hotel to be able to watch what's going on with her husband and report back to the family. I mean, it's insane. Another guy on the team, you know, just able to, you know, he was working, you know, Saturdays, Sundays, crazy schedule. You know, Tom's been able to figure it out. Jim out in Colorado, you know, personality-wise, brings so much to the team. Julie's here. Hello. You have to figure out and be able to point out these things in other people. It's just something, James, you know, and his attitude, you know, he brings energy no matter like good or bad, that's going on in life. He brings an energy to but you have to be able to point that out and figure out what are people good at. So it's not just you figuring out, but you have to figure out yourself and then turn around and go help others. She's got gaps. I got gaps. Together, we fill gaps. That was Sylvester Stallone and Rocky Balboa, pointing out exactly what we're talking about. I mean, even the simplest of person that gets hit in the head for a living can sometimes see this. It's amazing. Some people don't see it. Collaboration is more important than cooperation. Collaboration is hey, we need to get this done. Let's figure it out. Cooperation is you're going to do what I say. It's not about doing what somebody says. It's about accomplishing the overall, meaning we all have different ways to do things. You just have to learn how to get it done. Cooperation says, let's just get along or else nothing will ever get done. Collaboration says, let's work together because this has to get done. So, again, this is, you know, this is something we need to take to Washington, probably. And we've always needed to take to Washington. It's not just now. I'm talking about in general. They developed and tried to solve it on a large-scale complex. Okay. It forces a kind of collective collaboration that includes 5 important agreements. So Rob basically studied a method of collaboration called collective impact. And here's basically what it is. A common agenda. Like if everybody isn't on the same agenda, everybody wants to do something different. And I talk a lot about agendas. I was like, look, it's not necessarily great for everyone, but it's great for the agenda that somebody's on. A shared measurement system, meaning you have to know, everybody has to be on the same tracking system, or you're going to be like, I'm getting ahead, and you're like, no, you're not, because you're not even focusing on what we're doing. Contributing activities, conscientious communication, and then a support team. So he goes into each one of these, a common agenda. A shared point of collaboration is an agreement on what the problem is and how everyone will work together to solve it. Shared measurement system. How do you know you're actually accomplishing anything? So this is great in recruiting. So for those of you who are in the recruiting business, team building business, this is an important trait. And I learned this from one of my mentors and one of my teachers, David Bird. David Bird was a professional coach, worked for Paul J. Myers, the recorded billionaire. Paul J. Myers, at the age of 80, made $140 million in 1 year. In fact, he said he made more in that year than he did in the first 50 years of his life, which is, I mean, it's still so much money. It's unbelievable. But the interesting thing is he said he taught David Bird is he's like, everybody has a comfort zone. And your comfort zone is basically what pulls you back into doing what you always have done. This is why you can set goals the rest of your life, and you can have dreams the rest of your life, and you can tell people the rest of your life that you're going to accomplish all this, but you never will. And I don't know if you've ever tried this. You want to run out and accomplish some big goal, and you're like, dude, I'm going to write this down, I'm going to accomplish this, and you're still sitting in the exact same place 90 days later, 6 months later, 1 year later, 2 years later. You're still doing the exact same shit you were doing the last time. Why is that? Well, it's because of your comfort zone. Your basic human instinct, so this is built into your nervous system. Your basic human instinct basically says, I'm going to keep you in this sphere of commonality, in this sphere of what you know. And you're not going to be able to break outside of it. Why? Because your basic human instinct is always going to bring you back, because the basic human instinct's job is to keep you safe and secure. Venturing outside of that circle means you might not be safe because you're familiar with what's around you. So what he basically proposed is only a system, a tracking system, will allow you to venture outside of that comfort zone consistently and persistently. Like, this was huge. Like, this is the reason I was able to kind of incrementally keep increasing our income. Now, the next step is to 10x it, right? But, you know, to be able to go in 6 years and incrementally keep increasing income, keep increasing businesses, we keep building, it's because of a tracking system. And you're either going to track what you're doing, or you're going to end up repeating the same shit you did last time. That's the basics. And very, very often, people will beat their heads against a wall for years in any business. And like, I just can't figure out. I pretty much have sat down and had the exact same conversation with a friend of mine for 10 years. It's the exact same conversation over and over and over again. Well, I'm doing this, and you know, here's where I'm at, but you know, I can't get here and I can't get there. He won't write anything down, and he won't track anything. And because he won't write anything down, he won't track anything, he stays inside this same circle. Just around and around and around, same conversation. Now, I'm still friends, everything's cool, but I guarantee this year at some point he'll call, he'll want to sit down, he'll tell me exactly where he's at, and he'll complain about why he isn't bigger, meaning in his company. I mean, he's doing well, don't get me wrong, he's doing really well, but he has the potential to do 10 times what he's doing. I can see that, the people around him can see that, but he won't be able to do that until he gets this. But he's a person that doesn't like details. He doesn't like tracking. He doesn't want to bring anybody else on. He doesn't want anybody else to tell him what to do. So therefore, he's sitting in the exact same spot he was basically 10 years ago when he started working. He's more efficient than he was before, but he's doing the same thing. So a common agenda, shared measurement system, actually, how do you know you're actually accomplishing something? You measure your progress, and you don't leave the how to measuring up in the air. You basically have to define exactly what you're measuring. So what my mentor taught me was key performance indicators. What are the key things that you need to measure to know that you're growing, know that you're going in the right direction? Obviously, if you're in MLM and networking, this was basically the thing that was taught to me in the beginning. You know, in the beginning, when you don't have a team, you need to measure your activity, because your activity is everything. You don't need to measure about, you know, how many people are getting in. You don't need to measure about how many people showed up to, you know, the major convention, although that is important down the road. But initially, it's how many contacts are you making? How many presentations are you getting done? How many people are you moving through the process? And if you move more people through the process, you're going to get more people in. How many people are you able to get to the initial events, the open house, the trainings? How many people do you have on the team calls? How many promotional calls did you make to get people on the team calls? And you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to actually remind people to do stuff. Yes, because people are forgetful. Yes, because people don't do, you know, the things they say they're going to do. They do the things that they're reminded to do more often. So you define it key performance indicators. There should be about a half a dozen things that you're tracking if you're not tracking. And here's the thing, if you're not tracking anything, because that's the first thing I ask when people are like, well, I'm not really getting, great, what are you tracking? Well, I'm not tracking anything. Great, you'll never get anywhere. I mean, I know that for a fact. Now let's talk about what you should be tracking. Contributing activities. Artist Vincent van Gogh said, great things are done in a series of small things brought together. I just bought a Van Gogh picture the other day. Huge Van Gogh picture, by the way. Starry Night, if you know of that one, it's a blue one with the swirls. Saw it at Goodwill. I told myself I wasn't going to buy anything, which is usually how I end up buying things. Went into Goodwill, and it was the first picture I saw, and 4 people walked up to me. I had my hand on it, and 4 people walked up to me. Hey, have you already bought that? Yes. Yes, I have. No, I hadn't, but I wasn't going to tell them that until I got up to the front. Continuous communication. The law of communication in the 17 indispensable laws of teamwork says interaction fuels action. Interaction fuels action. So the more you're actually collaborating and talking about what's going on, the more likely you'll get into actually doing something. Have an understanding so there's not a misunderstanding. So this is why you collaborate and have these conversations with your team and what you're doing. A support team. Everyone who is working to advance the cause becomes more effective when supported by a team of people dedicated to a task of coordinating efforts. So it's like when everybody's on the same path and you get together with this group, it goes really well. Dakota's here. What's up, sir? Winning together. Someone who understands transformation and teamwork is my friend Casey Crawford, and he goes into a story about Casey Crawford out of Maryland. Go Maryland. A heart for people and a head for business. And this is something that I see more often than not, that people usually have a strength in one area of this and refuse to develop the other, right? With a heart for people. So he goes on to tell the story about Casey a little bit more. Community teamwork. As rewarding as it is to, for his company and his employees, remembering he goes back into his childhood, Casey quickly began looking for ways to open additional schools. So this is a gentleman who, built an empire. The need for one another is everywhere. If you want to change your world in a big way, then what you need to do is team up. If you're going to basically build great things, you got to team up with some cool people. If you're trying to do everything by yourself, you're going to still be by yourself years from now. And, again, I've watched people for years struggle, doing the same thing. Every time I have a conversation with them, it's the same thing. How you doing? Oh, life is rough. Oh, life is tough. Oh, this happened. Oh, that happened. But they're at the exact same place they were last time. Now, they've distracted themselves with all kinds of crap, but they really aren't moving forward, which is unfortunate. Teamwork is essential and makes everyone's efforts stronger, whether the project or objective is large or small. What does it take to be an effective team? Julie Lambert said it requires the following. Tolerance of each other's weaknesses. So you're going to have to be around some people who might annoy you. Encouragement towards each other's success. So no matter what, you're pointing out what direction we're going, not what you're doing wrong. Accomplishment, that each of us has something to offer. So looking for the best in other people. Mindfulness, that all of us appreciate those 3 qualities. So, kind of focusing over and over and over again, hey, this is what we should be focusing on. This is what we should be helping people and pointing out what's good, not hurting people and pointing out what's bad. Everybody knows they're doing stuff wrong. You probably don't need that pointed out to you. You already know that. What you do need pointed out is what you're good at and what you can do right, and then focus on that. And then if you know what you're tracking, which a lot of people don't, but if you know what you're tracking, it's very easy to know if you're getting ahead because you can look at the numbers. And that's what my mentor, and one of my coaches said. He's like, it's very simple. You look at the numbers and you know if you're moving forward. If the numbers are going backwards or the numbers aren't at all, then you know you're not going in the right direction. And eventually looking at those numbers, posting those numbers over and over and over again, you'll start to either, you'll get mad and frustrated and fix it, or you'll quit. Because you can't consistently throw up the numbers and destroy yourself day after day after day, knowing you're not getting ahead, knowing you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, knowing what you're not doing what you're telling other people you're doing. So I woke up to 2 more messages today. One that says, yes, I'm ready, send me the information. Another one says, look, I've gone through all the information and I want to talk. Let's do this. So with that being said, that's what we got for today. What's up?
All right. I think you pretty much covered it all. So if you guys haven't yet, you want to go to the Top Producer Show Facebook page and you want to go join that page. Also go follow us on YouTube because we're going to upload each one of these videos to there. So that way, if you guys would like to go back and rewatch some things, if there's a book that we've already gone over, you could go back and rewatch those as well. So with that, that's what we have for you. And we will see you guys tomorrow with the next chapter.